It was a Tuesday, May 20th, 2025 to be precise. The London air hummed with its usual electric energy. Little did I know my own internal electricity was about to be short-circuited. A challenge had been whispered, then shouted. Dave's hot chicken, the Reaper. Could I handle it? Friends smirked. Doubters doubted. My pride, a fragile thing, pricked up its ears. The dare hung in the air, thick and potent, much like the chilly fumes I was soon to encounter. This wasn't just about chicken, it was a test. A fiery trial by ordeal, London-style. The words spiciest chicken in London echoed in my mind. They became a siren song, luring me towards an experience I knew would be intense. Was it foolish bravado, perhaps? Was it an insatiable curiosity? Definitely. I've always considered myself fairly resilient to spice. A vindaloo, please, a dash of Tabasco, child's play. But the legends surrounding Dave's Reaper level were different. They spoke of grown men weeping. They whispered of waivers and warnings. This was a different league of heat, a culinary Everest I felt compelled to at least attempt to scale. My journey to Dave's hot chicken felt less like a trip for lunch and more like a gladiator walking into the Colosseum, armed only with a fork and a foolish sense of daring. The decision was made. I would face the Reaper. Dave's hot chicken isn't just any chicken joint. It's a phenomenon. Born in a humble East Hollywood parking lot in 2017, its founders, Dave Kapushian, Armen Oganesian, and Tommy and Gary Rubenian, had a simple dream. They wanted to create the perfect Nashville-style hot chicken. They started small with a tiny fryer and a big vision. Word spread like wildfire, pardon the pun. Soon queues snaked around the block. The legend of Dave's was born, fueled by fiery spices and undeniable flavor. The brand's explosive growth saw it conquer city after city in the United States. Its signature red branding became synonymous with extreme heat and delicious, crispy chicken. Then came the international expansion. London, a city that embraces bold flavors and new culinary experiences, was a natural fit. Dave's had successfully transplanted its fiery heart from the streets of LA to the bustling avenues of London, and the city was eating it up, sometimes with a side of tears. The Reaper level at Dave's hot chicken is not for the faint of heart. It's not even for most people who claim to enjoy spicy food. This is a different beast entirely. The name itself is a warning. The Reaper, as in the Grim Reaper. It hints at a culinary experience so intense it might just feel like a brush with the afterlife. Staff members offer solemn advice when you mention it. Their eyes often widen slightly. Are you sure? They ask, a genuine concern in their voice. This isn't a marketing gimmick, it's a genuine caution. The heat in the Reaper chicken comes from a carefully guarded blend of spices. While the exact recipe is a secret, the star of the show is no mystery, the Carolina Reaper pepper. This is currently one of the hottest chili peppers on the planet. It's a weapon in culinary form, and I, foolishly or bravely, was ready to listen. To truly understand the terror of Dave's Reaper chicken, one must understand its primary weapon, the Carolina Reaper pepper. This small, unassuming-looking chili, often red and gnarled with a distinctive scorpion-like tail, is a marvel of natural engineering. It was created by Smokin' Ed Curry of the Puckerbutt Pepper Company in South Carolina. It's a crossbreed between a ghost pepper and a red habanero, and it inherited the most potent traits of both, then amplified them to terrifying levels. It is quite simply ferociously hot. The heat of a chili pepper is measured in Scoville heat units, SAU. A jalapeno, for example, typically ranges from 2,500 to 8,000 SU. A habanero might hit 350,000 SHU. The Carolina Reaper, it averages around 1.64 million SHU, with some individual peppers peaking at over 2.2 million SHU. To put that into perspective, standard pepper spray used by law enforcement can range from 500,000 to 2 million SHU. You are essentially eating something comparable to a self-defense weapon. It's no wonder it commands respect. The use of such an extreme pepper in a food challenge is a testament to humanity's strange fascination with pushing boundaries. The moment had arrived. I stood before the counter at Dave's Hot Chicken, the bright lights illuminating the menu. My eyes, however, were fixed on one option, the Reaper. Saying the words out loud felt like a commitment, a verbal contract with impending doom. "One Reaper slider, please," I managed, trying to sound more confident than I felt. The cashier, a young woman with an unnervingly calm smile, nodded. Then came the inevitable. You'll need to sign a waiver for that, she said, her voice even. A waiver for chicken. She produced a clipboard. The document was stark. It was filled with legal jargon, warnings about potential adverse reactions, and acknowledgments of the extreme nature of the spice. Words like intense discomfort, physical distress, and not liable jumped out at me. I had to initial several clauses, each one a small nail in the coffin of my comfort. Signing my name at the bottom felt strangely ceremonial, like an astronaut signing off before a dangerous mission. There was no turning back now. The ink was dry. The chicken was ordered. Waiting for my order, the atmosphere in the restaurant seemed to shift. Or perhaps it was just my perception, heightened by adrenaline. My heart rate was definitely elevated. I stared at the Reaper slider. It seemed to stare back, daring me. My hands trembled slightly as I brought it closer. The first bite. It was a moment suspended in time. My teeth broke through the crispy coating, then sank into the tender chicken. For a fleeting second, perhaps two, there was flavor. A hint of smokiness, the savory taste of well-seasoned poultry. It was delicious. And then it began. Not a sudden explosion, but a creeping, insidious wave of heat that started at the tip of my tongue. This initial warmth was deceptive, almost pleasant. This isn't so bad, I thought, a foolish, fleeting moment of optimism. But the Reaper was merely biding its time, lulling me into a false sense of security. Within seconds, the warmth intensified, blossoming into a searing burn. It spread like wildfire across my entire mouth, engulfing my tongue, my gums, the roof of my mouth. The flavor of the chicken was now a distant memory, obliterated by the sheer, unadulterated force of the capsaicin. It was pure, unadulterated pain. My eyes began to water. A cough escaped my lips, a primal reaction to the chemical assault. The heat wasn't just on the surface. It felt like it was penetrating deep into my tissues, a relentless, throbbing inferno. The Reaper's assault was relentless. My mouth was a raging inferno. My lips felt swollen, throbbing with a fiery pulse. My tongue seemed to have tripled in size, each taste bud screaming in agony. Tears streamed down my face, not from sadness, but from sheer, overwhelming sensory overload. My nose began to run uncontrollably, a pathetic trickle against the volcanic eruption in my mouth. I was a mess, a hot, sweaty, sniveling mess. The full force of the Carolina Reaper had well and truly hit me, and my body was in open rebellion. A violent fit of hiccups erupted, each one sending a shockwave of pain through my already tortured esophagus. My throat felt constricted, as if it were closing up. Swallowing became an act of immense effort, each gulp reigniting the flames. I reached for the milkshake I had wisely ordered, a large vanilla one. The cool liquid offered a momentary blissful respite, a tiny oasis in a desert of fire. But it was fleeting. As soon as the milkshake was gone, the heat returned with a vengeance, angrier than before. Sweat poured from my forehead, stinging my eyes. My skin felt flushed and hot to the touch. I could feel my heart pounding in my chest, a frantic drumbeat against the rhythm of the pain. Finishing the Reaper slider was an act of sheer, bloody-minded stubbornness. Every bite was a fresh wave of torment. But I did it. I conquered the chicken, or so I thought. The immediate, explosive pain in my mouth eventually began to subside, very slowly, from a raging inferno to a mere bonfire. This took a good 20 to 30 minutes, punctuated by more milkshake, deep breaths, and a lot of quiet suffering. However, the Reaper's work was far from over. It had merely shifted its focus. As the oral inferno cooled, a new sensation began, the stomach burn. A deep, gnawing heat settled in my abdomen like a hot coal had been dropped inside me. This was a different kind of pain, less sharp, more insidious. It was a constant, uncomfortable reminder of the culinary war I had just waged. My stomach gurgled and churned in protest. I felt bloated and queasy. The triumphant feeling of having finished the slider was quickly being overshadowed by this new internal discomfort. The Reaper had a long reach. So the burning question remains, was it worth it? Did I conquer the Reaper or did it conquer me? The pain was intense, undeniable, and far exceeded my expectations. Yet, looking back, a strange sense of accomplishment lingers. I did it. I signed the waiver, I took the bites, I endured the inferno. There's a certain pride in pushing my boundaries, even if it was a chili-induced ordeal. The Reaper challenge is a badge of honor for some, a story to tell. And now I have that